listen to my dad. He's a beast. And if you don't want to listen to him, okay, you don't want to get successful. If you ain't trying to dominate, man, then go listen to something else.
Welcome, athletes, top performers, and all those looking to gain that killer instinct, that edge you need to dominate in any environment. This is the Sports Motivation Podcast, and I'm your host, Niyi Sobo. I played ball and succeeded at the highest levels, and I'm now committed to showing you how you can accomplish the ambitious goals and visions that you have. This podcast is designed to teach you high-level strategy, not just fluff and hype. This will cut to the core if you let it. And by taking action on the practical and next level advice I share, you will see results. Expect that. Expect to be more confident. Expect to be more focused. Expect to be more decisive. And expect to be more fearless. Expect to become the leader your vision needs you to become. So listen up. Take notes. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Sports Motivation Podcast. It's me, Niyi Sobo, teaching you all about how to dominate under pressure, how to develop a more dominant mindset, how to do what most people have no idea how to do. And that's to start at the root, how to really get to the root problem, how to develop a dominant mindset so that you can put yourself in a position to succeed. A lot of you work hard, man. That's not your problem. You train hard. You get after it, but you're not seeing the results, man. It's a lot of underlying problems that I hope to make you aware of and give you some practical solutions for how to solve that, how to develop a dominant mindset. It's a powerful skill to learn how to do. If you can learn how to do it for yourself, you can learn how to do it for others. Then you become very valuable. You can show people how to develop more confidence in themselves. If someone has confidence and trust in themselves, it's not a lot of results they can't get. All right, so chances are you have some results. If you have not, listen to I think it was the first episode of this year. I basically broke down 12 steps that I go through to set up my year. Very powerful exercise. It's actually the #1 downloaded episode. You've probably heard it. Probably shared it with your friends. It's valuable. Honestly, I could have charged for it, made a course out of it, but I gave it to you for free. So chances are you got some goals, but we're approaching mid-year, and I can guarantee that some of you have not set up quarterly goals. I can guarantee that some of you are not making progress at all towards your goals. Maybe you've given up on some. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you are making progress. It's probably a bunch of you in a lot of different areas. But this episode is for those people who have struggled accomplishing a particular result, all right? Now, this result could be something on the field or court. It could be something in your relationships, in your life, in your job, your career. It really doesn't matter. What is a goal? Just something that you want. Hopefully, you've laid out a plan for your desires, your goals, like I said, in a very systematic way. But this is some very real. Think of this as a reality check, all right? Basically, why you're not reaching your goals. I want to lay out some of the symptoms and the core roots of the problems, if you will, and hopefully this brings some awareness to you in terms of what you need to do differently starting today, starting like once you hear this and moving forward, all right? So the first thing is, chances are if you're having a hard time reaching your goals are not exciting and emotional enough. So what do I mean by that? The goal, whatever it is you say that you want, right? Let's say you want to win a championship, you want to earn X amount of dollars, you want to improve your relationship. These goals are not the things you want. It's the feeling behind the thing that you want. Because many times we get what we say that we want, but it's not really what we wanted. Because that's why, they always say money doesn't buy happiness. I don't believe that all the way to be true. I think that money does add a lot of value to one's life and it opens up opportunities and things of that nature. But I think what people mean when they say that is that It's not the money. It's not the physical paper or the number on your screen when you log into your bank account. That's the goal. It's the feeling. So it's the freedom. It's the ability to buy this or do that. So if you are not reaching your goals, that means you're probably running out of juice and steam, and the emotional element of your goals is what provides that. So your goals have got to be goals that get you excited. And to get you excited, they've got to be actually something that you really want, right? So you got to have goals that you want. So if you're doing something for reasons other than what you want, chances are you're also not going to have the emotional juice and steam, all right? So that's first. You want to make sure that what you want aligns with what you really want, if that makes sense, all right? So get sold on that. The next thing is, if you're not reaching your goals, I would be curious to see your strategy, meaning what is the plan to reach those goals? You said you wanted to win a championship and your training routine looks virtually the same as when you were horrible. There's no wonder why you're not reaching a championship. No wonder why you're not improving the relationship with some players on your team when you're judging them, when you are not spending any time with them, when you're not trying to figure out how to be a better leader. Your strategy has to be to date, right? So how do you do that? You find someone who has the strategy that you want, or who has the strategy. You find someone who has the result that you want and you copy their strategy. So your strategy must be legit. It can't be old and outdated, all right? Next thing. This is pretty basic. If you are not reaching your goals, you probably don't have a plan that's written out. I think it was a Harvard study in some year. They tracked these people who wrote their goals down and actually had plans to achieve them. And they found this I can't even remember the statistic. It was some wild statistic about the people who actually reached their goals are the ones who reached their goals are the ones who wrote it down and had plans for their achievement. Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, one of the best success books of all time. Classic, right? Definitely should read it. He talks about having written plans for the achievement of your goals. You gotta write your goals down, man. That's like goal setting 101. Gotta write them down. You gotta have a strategy laid out. All right. Your plan must be laid out. Like Urban Meyer says, coach at Ohio State. He has a great book called Above the Line. I recommend it all the time. It's like I would have to say in my top 10. Powerful book. Every athlete must read that book. He says goal clarity is critical, meaning knowing what your goals are is critical, but process clarity is even more critical. You got to know what the process is going to look like. That's the difference, man. That's what they don't tell you. When you hear people knock the law of attraction, that's what they don't tell you in the law of attraction. You got to have process clarity, man. You can't just have your emotions lined up and feel really good about your goal. That's critical too. I'm not knocking the law of attraction. That's critical. But people don't give you the full story. Process clarity is critical. Got to have plans that's broken down. The next thing is your plan is probably not broken down in small enough parts. You probably have big, vague plans like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to, improve in this area. But you got to break it down in parts. You got to break it down, micro level. You got to break it down, man, especially when you got these big goals. If you just want to, it's the cost, man. If you want to do things that are significant, don't expect it to be simple or easy, I should say. It could be simple to a degree, but like Albert Einstein said, you don't want to make things more simple than they have to be. You don't want to make them too difficult, but you also don't want to make them too simple. It's a balance, obviously. What I find is that people oversimplify these things way too much, all right? Way too much. You got to break your goal down in small parts, all right? The next is you have zero accountability set up. If you're having a hard time reaching your goals, I can guarantee you don't have an accountability partner that you check in with once a week, once a day, and you certainly don't check in with yourself. I find that the most powerful accountability is to yourself, quite frankly. I'm not devaluing the power of having an accountability partner. I prefer to be accountable to myself first. My goals mean something to me. I don't need somebody checking in on me all day. Again, somebody checking in on you is very important. It's powerful. Accountability is critical. However, you need to have accountability to yourself. So set up some form of accountability. You don't have to overthink it. Have your friend call you, text you once a day. It could be something as simple as having a reminder on your phone, remind you of your goals once a day. Go on your iPhone, click reminders, make it recurring at a certain time. Let's say 7 o'clock is when you start to veg out and start to hang on the TV screen and do whatever, or watch movies. Make that be the time that it reminds you. Next thing, you are probably not evaluating and adjusting course frequently enough or in the right way. So if you're having a hard time reaching your goals, you're probably not evaluating in the proper way. So what is the proper way? Is there just one way of evaluating? No, I don't think so. What I think, though, is to have a set of questions that you use to evaluate whether or not you're in alignment with your process. Does that make sense? Remember, process clarity. So make sure you have questions. Do something as simple as this, honestly. Just take a piece of paper, write out a set of questions that you can ask yourself daily in order to make sure you're on the right track. Have I done this today? How would I rate myself in terms of intensity in the gym? How disciplined was I to my to-do list today? If you have a to-do list, whatever it is, you identify the core elements of your process or model the process of someone else who has the result that you want, and evaluate yourself and adjust course. So I evaluate myself nightly. So I'll be hard. You're not going to find me on too many 2-day streaks of having bad days. I don't have many bad days in general. I have days that are not as productive. I have days that I don't feel great or I don't feel awesome. I don't have bad days though, because every day I'm moving. So I might be moving in the wrong direction, but I'm not going to be moving in the wrong direction for long because I evaluate and not just course. You must do that. All right. Next thing though, because a lot of people who evaluate, you're thinking, man, if I'm evaluating and adjusting course, that must be stressful. You must be like looking and be like, oh no, I got to hurry up and do this. You're right. It can be stressful. And a lot of people do get stressed out. And then guess what they do instead? They ignore their goals and go watch TV. It's a balance, remember. So your emotional state, if your emotional state is one of worry, lack, basically like you're always thinking about how you don't have the goal. And so you're worried, you're desperate, you're pushing, you're forcing. You're probably not going to reach your goals. All right. And that's when I can start talking about law of attraction, start talking about quantum physics. You want to have your emotional state align with the state of mind that you'll have when you reach the goal. So you want to evaluate, and this is the tricky part. You want to evaluate, adjust course while almost knowing that you're going to reach the goal, like assuming that you're going to reach the goal. I'm not saying to assume that you're going to reach the goal without doing the work, right? But you want to keep your emotional state of mind in a confident setting, right? Not one of lack, almost like one of assuming success. Like when you talk about, you look at a Tom Brady, you look at a Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook. You see these guys under stress, under pressure. They're not, oh my God, I got to figure it out. They're calm, they're cool. It's almost like they assume that they're going to win. Do they always win? No, but they assume they will. And they still go about their business, right? They don't just sit back and say, yep, it's done. They have that emotional state of mind that says, yep, we got this. And they move. So you got to check your emotions. If your emotional state is always one of stress, worry, and all that type of things, you can expect not to reach your goals. All right. Next thing, you got the wrong idea about what success looks like. And this goes back to the whole idea behind your plan and your strategy. If you're not reaching your goals or making progress as much as you think you should be, number one, you might not be aware of what the process should look like. Like, for example, someone who's expecting to put on 10 pounds of muscle in 2 months, you probably aren't aware of what the process will look like. So you got the wrong idea about what it looks like, or you're expecting to get a result without putting in the proper work that goes along with it. This goes back to finding someone who has your result and modeling their strategy. That's why it's so important to read. That's why it's so important to read biographies, etc. It doesn't even matter if it's not in the same realm. Like, for example, if you read the story of, let me just take, the movie, Grinding It Out. If you see the story of McDonald's, what's it called? The founder, right? Let's say you don't want to start your own, McDonald's franchise, but could you learn something from the guy who started McDonald's, the most powerful brand on the planet? Could you learn something from that? could you learn from something that he talks about, which is the P word, persistence, the ability to keep going? What he says is at the root of all success, persistence. So anyway, my point is you can look at his story, find out the elements of his strategy, see how creative he was, see how resourceful he was, see how persistent he was, see the desire and the emotion behind his goals, see what he had to give up, right? You get the right idea about what success looks like, and then you won't be that frustrated. You'll be like, I'm right on track. Based on what I'm trying to accomplish, man, I'm right on track. I'm telling you that I'm right on track. And I'm not always making the progress that I want or that I desire or that I think sometimes. But based on what I know, what I'm trying to build, what I know about life, what I've read, what I've learned from people who have accomplished much higher goals than I've accomplished or am even trying to, I'm right on track. So that keeps my emotional state balanced. Make sense? All right. Next, if you're not reaching your goals, I can guarantee you're probably not willing to give anything up. That's a fact. I can guarantee that. If you're not, because let me just ask you a question. What's your goal? You tell me what's your goal. Think about it out loud right now. Say, okay, my goal is to X, Y, Z, right? What are you willing to give up in order to get it? Then list out all the things maybe you're not willing to give up. That's the reason why you don't get it. If you were willing to give anything up, then you would have already had it. Guarantee. You can get it. Some of you want to sleep in and reach all your goals. You want to sleep in. You want to be able to binge out on Netflix episodes and still, gain skill in whatever you're trying to gain skill in. No, man, put the hours in, put the work in. Give that other stuff up. For now, at least. Give more of it up. You don't have to give it up all together. But let's be honest, you're probably not willing to give things up. You got to pay the cost. Pay the cost. Pay what it costs. If you want a Lamborghini, it costs a certain amount of money. And if you can't get a Lamborghini, that's fine. Then get something else. Get a bike or walk. So whatever your goal is, there's a price that's attached to it. Figure out what the price is, come up with the money and pay it. Simple, right? So your job is to do that. What is your goal? How much does it cost? Figure out how you're going to pay it. All right. So listen to those again. This is why you probably are not reaching your goals. This is based on my experience. These are all things that I've struggled with. Clients as well. I mean, hundreds of books that I've read. So you got to be honest with yourself. Based on what I just said, how does that apply to you? If you're honest with yourself, are there goals that you're not reaching, that you're not, moving towards as fast as you would like? And just be honest with yourself. Review those. Are your goals exciting? Is your strategy up to date? Do you have a plan that's written out? Is it broken down in small enough parts? Do you have accountability set up? Are you evaluating frequently and adjusting course? Is your emotional state aligned with your desires? Do you have the right idea about what success looks like? Are you willing to give anything up? Are you willing to pay the cost? If you are, you'll be the boss. Like Snoop Dogg says, pay the cost to be the boss. Hope you got value from this. Hope you apply this. And I wish you all the success. I wish you all the success. I want you to get everything that you want and more. Let's keep going. Let's keep grinding. Let's keep doing this thing together, all right? It's 2017. Let's make it the best year that we ever had. Let's do that together. It's not over. It's not even halfway over. Let's keep at it. Let's go. Thank you for tuning in to the Sports Motivation Podcast. Make sure if you dig in the podcast, go and subscribe so you can always get the latest episodes. I come out with a new episode twice a week on Tuesday and Friday at 3 a.m. Eastern. And make sure you go ahead and rate it and leave me a good review. As always, I appreciate you tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon. Much love. One of the most common questions I get from athletes all the time is this: what is the single best thing I can do to reach my goals? How can I set myself apart from everybody else? Obviously, there are a lot of things, but the one thing that's helped set me apart was having a coach, a mentor, someone to show me the right strategies and how I need to do things specifically to achieve my results. So you could try to do it on your own, but you'll end up making many mistakes that could have been avoided if you had someone guiding you and coaching you along the way. 99% of athletes in the world have expert coaches to show them the things that they can't see. If you want to work with me as your coach, I want you to go to IMNOTYOU.com/SRC and learn more and sign up for a free coaching session. I'll give you 60 minutes of my time for free, and I can teach you some dynamic strategies, plus show you how you can secure me as your sports results coach. All I ask is that you fit in this criteria. You're serious about your sport, you're willing to invest the time and money, and you have clear goals of taking your game to the next level, or some sort of specific results you want to achieve. This is definitely not for everyone, and I have very limited spots available for this. So, if this applies to you, I want you to take action. Go to IMNOTYOU.com/SRC, and I guarantee you're going to take your game and your career to the next level.